to my balcony DIY video. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through all of the DIYs that I did in my balcony transformation tour. So if you'd like to see that video, I will have it linked below. Definitely recommend checking it out so you can see the entire balcony and the process of it, because it was quite a challenge. It took forever, but my vision finally came true.
So let's kick it off with this mini macrame wall hanging I made. Once you get the hang of this knot, you can do this any size you'd like. So all I needed for this project was a wooden dowel and some cord. I ended up using a clothesline cord, which I purchased from Canadian Tire. The first thing I did was cut the dowel to size. I decided to make it 20 inches. I used this little handheld saw to cut the dowel. I didn't end up recording the part because I definitely violated some safety regulations while cutting it and didn't want to set a bad example. I used a measuring tape to cut out the length of my cord. I don't exactly remember how long I made it, but I recommend to cut more off than you think you'd need, since my wall hanging turned out to be smaller because of that. I cut 12 pieces of the cord, all the same length, and to start off, I took one string, folded it in half, and tied it to the dowel, like so. Make sure you leave a gap on either side of the dowel to add the hanging piece at the end. Then I tied the rest of the pieces to the dowel and adjusted them so they were evenly spread apart. To make the box knot, you take 4 of the strings, and with the outer left string, you're going to make the shape of a 4, then grab the outer right string, pull it over top of the 4, then under, and then through the hole. Then tighten the knot. To complete the knot, do the exact same thing going the opposite way, pulling the knot tight at the top. So once you get the hang of this knot, the rest is pretty self-explanatory and easy. For the second row, I just left the first 2 strings out and then created the same knot with the next 4 strings to interlock the rows of macrame. Then the next row, going back to using all the strings. I kind of kept doing that until I ran out of string and decided to taper it down to a point. Then I knotted each individual string to secure it into place and cut the excess string off. You can definitely fray the rest of the string. I was sort of short for time, so I didn't bother, but I do think it would look better that way. The last thing that was left to do was tie a string to either end to hang it up and cut off the excess string. And I was done. It definitely ties the space together and looks great next to my macrame plant hanger, which I purchased because my macrame skills are not that advanced yet. So I wanted to make little labels for all of my plants on my balcony. Since most of them are herbs, I thought it would be easy to figure out which herb was which in the dark. I picked up these little hanging name tags at the dollar store and some popsicle sticks. I also needed a Sharpie and some white spray paint and Gorilla Glue. The first thing I did was cut off the strings of the tags and got to spray painting. I needed a couple of coats. I also spray painted both of the tags and the popsicle sticks, and don't forget to spray paint the back. Once they were dry, I started writing out my herbs and vegetables and used some Gorilla Glue to attach them. And voila! I just waited for my labels to dry before sticking them into their new homes. Since some spots reached less light on my balcony, I decided to make a plant stand to help it see more sunlight. What you'll need is this twine base, which I will show you how to make in a moment, a plant stand, which I found at the dollar store, a hot glue gun, and twine. To make the base, I took some cardboard and traced the top of the plant stand. Since my cardboard was a little flimsy, I used 2 pieces and hot glued them together for extra support. Next, I eyeballed the middle of the circle and added a dot of hot glue, then started spiralizing the twine around itself, adding more glue as I went. This was a pretty repetitive process, but it only took about 20 minutes to make. If you choose to use a thicker cord, it would be a lot quicker. Once the base was done, it was time to attach it to the plant stand. I used hot glue to secure it along the edges. I noticed it wasn't staying down very well, so I went around the edges again and added more hot glue to keep it in place. Then, to cover up the visible cardboard and the top of the wire frame, I just continued to wrap the twine around the base of the plant stand. Just keep going until you can't see it anymore. You can also wrap the twine around the legs of the stand. I really liked the way it looked without it, but I guess it just depends on the plant stand you use. And this is the final result. And last but certainly not least, spray painting. When purchasing items for my balcony, I didn't let the color stop me since I knew I could easily and affordably change the color by spray painting. I know this seems like such a boring DIY, but if it wasn't for me spray painting 90% of my flower pots, the color theme would never have come through. When spray painting the initial coat, I like to use vertical strokes to keep the paint from dripping. Once I had a good base on, I was able to build up the paint without too much dripping. I actually ended up spray painting way more items than I filmed, and it's pretty straightforward and self-explanatory, so I didn't record everything. And there you have it, 4 easy and affordable DIYs for your outdoor space. I hope you guys like my video. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.